It all started with just trying to figure out how to show and teach other military members how to achieve financial freedom through real estate. And so, just financial freedom for those who serve.
Welcome to the Millionaire Enlisted Podcast. Thank you for listening. If you like our content, subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Today, our guest is Tim Kelly from Active Duty Passive Income.
All right. So thanks for coming on, man. We just, been seeing all the great stuff that you've been doing on ADPI. Let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about you, your adventure specifically. How did you begin your real estate investing journey?
Yeah, man, this is awesome. Thanks again for having me on. I've been waiting to kind of have a cool conversation with you guys. So this is awesome. It's I'm blessed that we could interact like this. Yeah, I think the journey really began on one of my last deployments in 2014 when I was deployed to the Persian Gulf on a ship. And I just had a bunch of books with me, and I've always been interested in personal finance and just building wealth and financial management. So the more content I consumed and the more I improved my financial IQ and the more I increased my financial intelligence, the more I came across this real estate, asset class. And so, it continued to build my curiosity, and I just kept reading more and more about it. So at that point, I'm like, okay, this seems like it's something I could do, right? So the more I read, I consumed so many books, so many podcasts, went to so many conferences and meetups. I was just really just dove into the education and just really consumed everything I could get my hands on and listen to and everything. And then at that point, I just fast forward just a couple years, and I started focusing solely on multifamily, and I kind of skipped the whole single family and residential asset class, and it just multifamily definitely just aligned much more with what I was trying to do and what my goals were. So I closed on a fourplex, and then about 6 months later, syndicated my first apartment community. It was just a little 42 unit deal. And then, from that point, right after that, it was a mobile home park that we bought. And then now that's kind of all we focus on, and, have about 1,000 units, total that ownership, or that, we control or under management, just all over the Southeast and Midwest, and, between mobile home communities and apartment communities. And that's what we're looking at right now. And, it kind of just learned, I don't know if you want to dive into any of that right now. So that's kind of how it all happened.
We'll dive into that. My question, I'm curious, right? Because our channel, our company is the Millionaire Enlisted, right? Which is it comes from the military, us being active, right? Where does the name of your company came from? What was the motivation behind it? Just curious.
Yeah. So, are you talking specifically about active duty passive income?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, ADPI, I'm not going to take credit for that name. I'm not one of the founders. I'm an executive partner and an owner in the company. They actually heard me on a podcast when they first started the company, and about 6 months later, they started the company, and then they heard me on a podcast, and, they reached out to me and they heard me, or we immediately connected. And so, essentially that the name is just, it all started with just trying to figure out how to show and teach other military members how to achieve financial freedom through real estate. And so, just financial freedom for those who serve, whether it's active duty, you're a veteran, you're a reservist, or you're a spouse or family member. So that's kind of how that all started. And, but like I said, I won't take credit for the name of it, but as soon as I found out about it, man, they asked me to join the team, and, that was about 2.5 years ago or something. And we just built an incredible community, since that point. So
amazing.
Yeah, no, we've seen the growth, and I think it's awesome. I've seen other companies try to do what ADPI has done, and I don't think anyone has cracked that nut except you guys. So I commend you guys for that. So our thing is still, honoring the heritage that we're military. However, we're not catering specifically just to the military community. We try to also, do the syndication, multifamily deals, and open our demographic all around. But I want to ask you, how do you switch your mentality? Because I know everyone has that moment when they're like, oh, hey, multifamily, small residential, multifamily, or single family. And then all of a sudden your eyes open up and you're like, wow, I can also do syndication. I can also do these bigger projects. So how did that happen to you?
Yeah, man, it was honestly, when I was in my education phase, I was just consuming everything I possibly could. I learned about all the different ways that you could create wealth and create income in real estate. So I kind of went horizontal across, single family, flipping, buy and hold, creative strategies, multifamily, commercial. I just learned like horizontal. And then I realized after talking to, a couple mentors and I had to hone my focus, and that's when I chose multifamily, because it sounded like it made a lot more sense to me. I always just gravitated toward that, and I started learning more about that. Then I just went really vertical down that asset type, and I just focused on that. I really paid attention to nothing else. I didn't try to wholesale. I didn't try to flip. I didn't try to buy and hold single family. I just put everything into the multifamily, and paid a lot of money for real estate education and coaching and all that. And it definitely paid off. And I just honed my focus to that one specific niche, because it just made more sense to me. And that was after, learning about all the different ways you could, make money in real estate. And I kind of just chose that path. And I'm definitely glad I did, because there's to me, it just makes a lot more sense. There's a lot more benefits.
When you say learning, do you say like active learning? Like, for example, I did the active learning, where I went from step to step. Or did you just got into educating yourself, reading books until you finally hit that topic of multifamily syndication, and you're like, okay, no, I don't want to do any of that stuff. Let me just jump right into multifamily.
Yeah, I mean, so I did leverage my VA loan. That was like my introduction to real estate, but I wasn't in the investor mindset at that point. I was back in like 2011, and I ended up actually house hacking before I knew what that was all about. We had another bedroom, a nice bedroom that we rented out to my friends and people that were in the neighborhood or whatever. And then the minute I kind of stumbled across this whole real estate investing niche, and we learned about wholesaling, we learned about all these different things. And everybody tells you, wholesale, anybody could do wholesaling. You can get in, you don't need money, you don't need credit, you can just start doing it, you can learn all these things. So everybody kept telling me that was like one of the first steps. So then we tried, like, we didn't spend a whole lot of money on marketing or whatever, but it just didn't make sense to me to spend all this time to try to get a marketing budget just to, really put a deal under contract and get an assignment fee for 4 or 5, 6, even 10 grand. And then that's it. And then you got to go do it again. And I was way more interested in cash flow and streams of income that were passive, that were residual, that were monthly, and just made a lot more sense to me especially once I discovered the 5 profit centers of real estate. When you buy and hold real estate, it pays you in multiple ways. And so it's just, again, and then with the scalability, so I tried a couple things, and it just didn't make sense to me. And then the minute I learned and educated myself on multifamily, that's when, all right, this is the asset class I'm going for. It just makes a lot more sense. And then I kind of just didn't let anything else stop me or distract me. I kind of just went straight for that.
You mentioned mentorship and education. So did you pay for mentorship, coaching? Was that part of it too, or no?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it was one of those typical kind of 3-day seminars that you go to, and where they just continue to upsell you. And I paid a couple $100 to go to the 3-day, and then after the 3-day, paid 20 something grand to get, a very good formal education on real estate and mentorship and all this other guidance, and definitely did that. And, I kind of attest a lot of that to where I am today, because that got me super focused, and that kind of set me off onto a path, and I invested a lot into myself. And clearly it was, part of the recipe to where I am today. So yeah, I absolutely invested a lot of myself, and that's why we create, we created academies and masterminds in the ADPI ecosystem, because we believe in investing in yourself and going, trying to achieve your goals with a tribe of people, and being coached and mentored by those who have gone before you to do the same, that have done the same thing. And so yeah, we definitely believe in the coaching and the paid mentorship and all that, because that's what helps all of us get to where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. So I know I've been burned by mentorship before. Paid for a Rich Dad course, and I love Rich Dad, but they license their name to just about everyone and anyone. And I paid about $3,000 and I got nothing out of it. So out of your guys, who do you who was the most valuable, right? Because obviously there's a spectrum there of people who you probably paid and they were like, this material's okay. And then there was that one guy who probably took you under the wing, showed you a lot, and really introduced you to a lot more investing material.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to be transparent, I totally went for the Rich Dad, education, the real estate education. That was the first one that I kind of went with. And it was, I had a good experience with it. I didn't really know a whole lot of what to expect. I knew I was taking a risk, and either way, whether I believe I could have done it and achieved what I achieved today, with or without that, I did, and I have no regrets for doing it. And that was a component of what got me to where I am today. And so, yeah, I mean, that's it. And obviously on top of that, there was all kinds of other podcasts and books that I read, and mastermind groups that I was a part of, and things like that. And I kind of just, I struggled a lot, and there was not a whole lot of traction till pretty much that point where I focused on multifamily. And that's where I really, all my time, I got a lot more bang for my buck, because I focused and honed my focus on multifamily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely get it, man. So as far as, moving forward, you went ahead and, started investing in multifamily syndication. That became your niche, correct? And then how do you said you bought a 40 unit. Can you tell us a little bit more about that deal, how you worked it out, how you gathered the capital, the whole shebang?
Yeah, so that actually was shortly after I got here to Pensacola. At that point, I was already focused on multifamily, and as soon as I got down here, I closed on a fourplex using the 203K FHA loan, just because I had to take advantage of that owner-occupied financing where you could wrap the cost of rehab into a loan. So as soon as I closed on that, I was still meeting with people and meeting with brokers and meeting with partners who were also interested in apartment communities in the area. And so, about 6 months later, we closed on that, and we found that through a local broker who was in the area. And a lot of that was a testament to the fact that I was part and active of our local RIA here in Pensacola. And, for those of you who don't know what that is, or if you're not familiar, it's a Real Estate Investment Association, the RIA. There's RIAs in all, most major cities and even secondary markets. It's just a bunch of people that are getting together, usually on a monthly basis, that talk about real estate, the network, that, there's usually a learning component. And every single month I went, and I was networking, and I was letting people know who I was, what I was doing, what I was looking for, and that I was serious, because I had all this education and I knew what I was doing. And I didn't let the fact that I didn't close a multifamily deal prevent me from letting people know that this is what I do and this is what I'm looking for. And they took me seriously, and like 90% of the capital was raised in that room. in our RIA specifically. And, I found a partner that was pretty much, aligned with me and what I would do. He just had different other strengths and weaknesses, and I had other strengths and weaknesses. We kind of teamed up. It was a great partnership. And then we found the capital, we raised the rest of it mostly through our RIA and through our friends and family. It was just 506B SEC syndication, sophisticated and non-accredited investors and friends and family. And yeah, it was that's kind of how it all worked out. I don't know how much more detail you want me to get with it, but it was, and I'm really kind of emphasize the power of your local RIA. We found the deal because we were letting people know who we were, what we were doing, and I had the education to back it up, so I could have these conversations with investors and with brokers. And then this broker gave us one of his pocket listings because he took us seriously because we knew what we were talking about and we knew our deal criteria, and then kind of move forward from there. And we're able to raise capital through friends and family and other people at our RIA, and just worked out, man. And that kind of put, once you get your first deal under your belt, there's just a lot of momentum. And if you just keep going, you just keep pushing the pedal down, and there's a lot of great things happen after you close your first deal. So
when you say were you part of the ADPI already, or were you with somebody else at that point?
No, that was me. And then I was kind of just a sole entity that the housing group that I created on my own, and then I partnered with somebody. But that was from networking on Bigger Pockets. Actually, as soon as I got orders here down to Pensacola, when I left my last duty station, I got orders here. I started networking with people. The minute I got down here, I met with someone actually by the name of Jay Helms, good friend and business partner of mine. He got his whole big community and platform, and right now, and he's actually about to host this big online summit with a lot of great people and heavy hitters in the industry. So me and him and I, the minute I got down to Pensacola, like that same week, we linked up and we had dinner actually with a broker. And since that point, 6 months later, that's when we closed on our first deal. So yeah, I partnered with the other general partner, and then we found other capital partners, and we're able to get the deal done.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I've heard of Jay. I think he's W2, right? Capitalist.
That's right, man. W2 Capitalist. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got great stuff too. Yeah, I've heard of him. But that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's testament to the power of networking.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's a great story to put out there. That all you gotta do is get out there and show people you're serious.
That's right.
And they eventually take you serious.
That's right, man.
That's all it really is. So. When you moving forward, you close on that deal, the momentum, and we completely understand that once you get the foot in the door, you show some credibility, people start really take you on and say, okay, we can supply them with deals and things like that. But then now you get approached, I guess, by ADPI. How does that merge work for you? And, how have you helped grow that company now?
Yeah. Man, it was, again, so Jay and I, we ended up being guests on the Bigger Pockets podcast. We were pretty active in the community, and we were guests on the Bigger Pockets podcast. And the guys who started ADPI listened to that podcast, and then that's how they heard me. And I ended up giving out my cell phone number when I was a guest on the show, and which worked out great. I mean, people think I'm crazy for doing that, but the only people that called me were people who wanted my help, who were asking for my help, or people who wanted to partner with us and, maybe throw us some of their money to put into our deal. So I would be willing to talk to any of those people, right? Mm-hmm. So because I gave out my number and my contact information, Eric Upchurch, one of the co-founders of the ADPI, he immediately reached out to me and we connected, and they were actually looking for like kind of the multifamily education, because at that point, the guys who had started, they didn't have a whole lot of multifamily experience. So, I came in and I initially was kind of like the multifamily syndication chief, executive. And from that point, I kind of just spearheaded our military multifamily academy and mastermind. And we created this very robust course for military members, how to take you from really knowing nothing about real estate to being able to to find, negotiate, and close and manage and operate and even disposition a multifamily deal. I mean, everything from syndication to raising capital to insurance to entity protection. So we created this very robust course, and that's kind of sort of what I've been spearheading this whole time. And now I facilitate a mastermind of other military members who are all specifically honing in on multifamily real estate from all over the world. And we got people closing deals from all over the world. Some are in Japan, some are in Italy, and all over the United States. And it's just really exciting, man. And just, we have a lot going on in that community. A great team. We've had a lot of great people come on board who have the same passionate and drive to help military achieve financial freedom. And we have something very, very special going on, and even more exciting things planned for the future.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. German, what you got?
Yeah, so you mentioned the future. What's in the future? Tell us about the course. Let's focus on multifamily, right? Which is what we're doing right now. So tell us more about the course, and tell us what's what can people in us expect for the future of ADPI.
Yeah, so I mean, the course itself is limited. We only launch it for about 2 or 3 days, once a quarter. Because we only open it to a limited amount of people. And once we have that many people, we kind of shut the doors, because we want only the most committed people who are just ready to take action join. And then, since it's only a small group, we are able to hone our focus and help them more than if we had like hundreds of people join all at once. You know what I'm saying? So once quarter we'll be releasing it. And I think the first or second week of April is going to be our next launch. Where we're going to open the doors and allow people to get in, to purchase the academy, and to join our multifamily mastermind. And, with a very robust course that we're constantly updating, I mean, you get direct access to the team, not only through Zoom calls that we have, every single week, but we have a Voxer channel. If you're not familiar with Voxer, it's a free app. It's like a walkie-talkie app, just like a group chat, right? But then you tap to talk. It's like a walkie-talkie. So you have direct access to the whole entire team and everybody else in the multifamily group. And then plus we share a private Facebook group, and people in our multifamily Academy of Mastermind, they have direct access to us and our deals. And we give them an inside look at our deals. Like the ADPI Capital team, not only are we teaching people, but we're taking down deals at the same time, and we're showing people how to do it. So, we give them an inside look at our deals. A few months back, we bought both an apartment community and a mobile home community, and they saw how our deals are structured. They saw how we raised our capital. They saw our deal packages. So like you almost get an inside look at everything that we're doing, just to empower you, to give you all the tools necessary to close your own deals. So, I mean, that's what I'm super excited about. I mean, I wish something like this was around when I was trying to figure everything out. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, we're just making it super easy for people who are serious and committed and stuff. And, I mean, as far as the future, like we have, we're speaking at the Military Influencer Conference. Next year, we spoke last year, and we ran like an investing track. And this year, the Military Influencer Conference is in September in San Antonio, and we're actually one of the main sponsors. And we have our own essential track that is teaching people all about real estate investing. And there's it's a great opportunity for people. Have you guys heard of that? The Military Influencer Conference? Yeah, man, it's an amazing place to be. There's so many great military and ex-military entrepreneurs that are there, just helping each other out, networking, and we've established some really great relationships from the last one. And we're excited about this one. And so, like, we have a whole coalition of real estate agents from East Coast to West Coast called the Inner Core Coalition that are like, agents are vetted through us. They're ADPI certified that we can refer our members to. So it's like a win-win situation. We feed leads to these agents. Plus we're offering our members the best agents, the best of the best. We have a mortgage company. So we're able to fund deals for our members, not only, the VA loans that all these other big name companies. People don't understand how they're actually taking advantage of a lot of veterans, the Navy Federals, the USAAs, the Veterans United. There's so many other fees and their upcharges that these vets don't understand. So we are able to fund deals in-house to offer the best customer service and the best rates and terms for our members. And, we have an insurance brokerage too, where we can create insurance policies and stuff for our members that we're super excited about. And, all that with, it is for the people who are taking action. But we have all these other free things. We have a best-selling book that's free on our website right now. We have a podcast where we've interviewed like Robert Kiyosaki, Garrett Sutton, Tom Wheelwright, Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, Jocko Willink. We have all these awesome people on our show, but then we also interview junior enlisted and junior officers who are taking action and who are actually doing deals and stuff and who are seeing success. That's almost more inspiring to hear than like a Grant Cardone coming on and, because most of us have heard Grant Cardone before.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody heard him.
We know what he's talking about. So, but yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff planned, and we're super excited. Our Facebook group just has exploded. Almost 10,000 people in our Facebook group, and it's just rapidly growing. And more people are taking action and actually taking control of their financial freedom and their financial futures. Because if you're not doing it, man, somebody else is controlling it. And it's just awesome to see all these people are taking action and actually taking control of that.
Exactly. So question, the course that you guys provide, right, for multifamily, is it open for everybody, or do you guys select a few of these people that try to get in? Is there a pre-qualification to get into that course, or?
Yeah. I mean, so if you're a member and you're already vetted, you're already active duty or a vet or a spouse or even a family member, when the doors open, there's people that are on a wait list, so they can kind of get the inside look at when it's going to get released. And the minute the doors open, pretty much it's the first, I haven't nailed down exactly how many we're going to let in this launch, but last launch it was only 15 people total that we let in to the Academy and Mastermind. So let's just say it's the same thing, maybe this time around. So like really the first 15 people that come, we kind of keep it limited to that. We might stretch it because more and more people might want to do it and might want to take action. And literally, man, like I said, like the amount of value that we're offering at the price point that is at it's just mind blowing, especially compared to, what all the whole entire team invests in themselves and what they have invested in their education. And we kind of consolidate all that into this very robust course and mastermind. So yeah, I mean, if someone wants to get in, most likely they'll be able to get in unless they try to do it afterwards. But we don't want to turn anybody down and turn anybody around, because if they're willing to invest in themselves, we want to help them out. And we'll most likely be able to find a spot for them,
Incredible.
It's awesome to see what you guys are doing. And I don't like you said, you have mortgage, you have all these things, right? I'm not sure what you don't have.
It's like an enterprise. That's amazing.
It's pretty awesome to see, because you hear about Better VA, all these other things, but you guys were able to do it all. Pretty cool. Going back to the deal, syndication. What's your typical syndication structure? You do a 70-30. What's your preferred return? And what can, like, a passive investor who's looking for you guys, what can they expect? Yeah,
so it really depends on the deal, and I'll give you kind of an idea of our last one. We just syndicated an 80 unit apartment complex over right outside of Indianapolis a couple months ago. And that was 7% preferred return, 70-30 split. The GPs have 30% ownership, LPs have 70% ownership. With an IRR of about 15 to 18% projected annually, over the first 5 years, and doing really well on that. We're tracking really well, but it's a pretty basic and cut and dry syndication, like you hear from a lot of other syndicators that are raising capital. And we keep our asset management fee pretty low, about to 1.5, and our acquisition fee is the same thing, 1.5. And we're super excited about that, and that's the general structure. But moving forward, we're actually more interested in continuing to JV. We found capital partner. We actually have a partnership now with a family office who wants to fund our all of our deals moving forward. And it's pretty cool. And where you have really no limits and you have access to unlimited capital, what you could do, and how, how many more people you could help, and the kinds of deals that you could take down, when you're not limited on capital, when you're not trying to raise capital from dozens and dozens of different accredited or non-accredited investors, depending on what you're going for. You can't say that we'll be continuing to offer investment opportunities, because we've linked up with the family office, and moving forward, we know exactly what they want. They know they what they want, and what they're looking for is very much in line with what we're looking for, and what we look to have under contract here very soon. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have any other questions about the first deal, or that the syndication structure, or anything else about that. But
so the syndication, for example, right, in the course. So what you're saying right now, because you found somebody that's going to fund all the deals from now on. So when you have all these students in your course, they're going to be able to learn from you guys on how to structure the deal, how to get the deal, right? But they're not going to be able to invest with you guys in regards to like, oh, let me bring a deal to you guys and you'll be able to finance it, or let me partner out with the deal, with the next deal that you guys are coming into, because you're not going to need that. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's funny that you say that, because we didn't build this community to raise capital, and to offer investment opportunities to people. We want to empower and help educate people how to do it on their own, right? And then, but like you said, what it turned out to be like, we have a bunch of our students bringing us deals, saying, hey, let's partner on this. I want to do it, but we have very kind of strict criteria, and we haven't created a system yet to where we'll be able to partner with our students. And we've had a bunch of opportunities, and we hate turning them down. We want to help them do it on their own without, counting on us, right? Especially because most of us still have full-time jobs. We're doing this ADPI capital thing. We're taking on the deals, and we're still operating ADPI. We don't have that kind of time on top of all that, and somehow making time for our families, right, to partner with on other deals. So we're really trying to figure out how to kind of make it fair for everybody, and how to create win-win situations. But we're most likely giving them the tools to really do it on their own, so they don't have to kind of rely on us. But I know for a lot of them, that would help them get to the next level and kind of break through that barrier. So we're working ways to do that, to make that happen. But as of right now, it's full transparency, man. We don't have something set up to be able to do that with them.
You guys are doing great. I mean, what you guys are doing is amazing. I was just curious if you guys, because I know a lot of other coaches and a lot of other mentorship programs, they do that. But there's nothing wrong with what you guys are doing. You guys are teaching people to fish instead of giving them the fish. That's amazing in my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like a lot of these gurus do say, hey, bring us deals and we'll help you close, right? But then most likely they'll own some of the percentage, and they'll have access, and that just adds more doors to their portfolio too. So I'm not saying that's wrong or anything, and that is almost the byproduct of creating an education community. You have all these people that see you as the authority, that want to partner with you, but for us right now, we just don't have that kind of bandwidth. But maybe one day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. You brought up a great point as far as balancing things. So yeah, you're still on active duty. I read your bio. We're on active duty still as well. Brother has 1.5 years to retirement. But how do you balance this? What is what are your coworkers are telling you? Are you a mogul?
Yeah, man. So a lot of this has to do, it goes back to the why, the more, and the cool thing is, the more I've learned about becoming a good real estate investor, the more I've learned about how to just be successful in general, and how to just become a better human, right? And to just add more value to this world. And with that comes with being able to have better time management, right? Being able to just communicate better with people, being able to lead better, being able to just connect people better. And And so because of that, now I've kind of had this addiction to self-development and self-education. So, I have very strict time management, principles and guidelines to where, I respect others' time, but I respect my time very, very, very much. And so I need to be as high value with it as possible. And I need to be able to focus on really the highest income producing tasks as I possibly can all the time. So a lot of that has to go with kind of mindset, man, because mindset is everything. I'm sure you guys, realize that. And I'm constantly focusing on improving my mindset, improving my relationships, and, being able to add more value, being able to have more energy, improving my physical fitness and nutrition, because that all kind of directly improves all other facets of life. And all these other things are just so important. And focusing on your time management is crucial, especially when you have a full-time job and you're trying to do all this on the side. So it's really but it goes back to my why, and a lot of it is this foundational rule I have, this E to E ratio, this entertainment to education ratio, where it's like kind of 80-20, right? So I'll take all my free time, 20% of all my free time is dedicated to some kind of education or self-development. And 20% of my free time is dedicated to that entertainment, going out to see movies I love music going to see shows. And I also play in a band and going to play shows with my band. And that's like very dedicated. And I take that seriously because you have to create that time for entertainment. Yeah. But out of all the free time you have, man, 80% of it, as long as that's focused on some kind of development, some kind of, improving yourself and your education, and 20% of it is dedicated to entertainment, things that you love, and spending time with those who you care about the most. That's kind of a rule of thumb that I also live by. It's just the E to E ratio.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome, man. And I'm sure, a family life too, you have to have that balance, and because I know as a real estate investor, it's not easy, man. I mean, you're doing things when you can, right? And you gotta keep the family happy and as priority number one, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're being active duty. What's your what's gonna happen with your active duty career? Are you gonna retire? Are you going to get out? Are you gonna how are you gonna combine that with the real estate investing?
Yeah, man, I actually plan on separating at the end of this year in November. I'll be at just over 15 years. And I'm still kind of weighing the pros and cons of whether I should stay in the reserves or not. But the way it's looking right now, I'll just be separating, and just focusing on what I enjoy doing, and where my time is better spent is helping other people achieve financial freedom while I continue to create abundance and a life of prosperity for myself and my family, outside of the military. And as much as I love the military, I mean, like I said, I'm senior enlisted in the Navy, and I love being part of the Chiefs mess, and it's taught me a lot, and I test that attribute a lot of that to my success, right? And those who have helped me become the leader I am today in the military. And I can't say this enough, that people think that the military is a lot of times holding them back from achieving their goals, but people don't realize that the military shapes you to be a better entrepreneur than any other industry. With the work ethic and the humility and the grit and the leadership and the teamwork and just, there's so many great things that I've learned from the military and from traveling the world and from leading people in the military that have translated very well. And I think that a lot of that attributes to where I am today and my real estate investing.
That's awesome.
Love it, man.
Good luck to you good luck to you in the next year.
Yeah, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
No, that's awesome, man. Because I know a lot of us, like, I'm at a 10-year point, and I think, am I gonna get out? Am I gonna stay in? And for me, my mentality is, where's my time better spent, right? And I love the real estate game, and I wish I could be out there at every networking event,
Yep.
every big event. But you have work, and last year I was deployed, so I couldn't. So, it is what it is. But that thought is always in there. It's just making that step at some point. But that's awesome, man. Very happy that you're gonna separate and follow your dream, your passion.
Yeah.
So, few other questions. So, as far as with ADPI and all this, so anything new you guys are going to launch? Because I mean, and before we cover some other stuff, and it seems like you have everything covered. Anything new that you haven't released to other people?
Yeah, man, I think we have, like, on a daily basis. We come up with these amazing ideas, and you wouldn't even believe, like, if we were able to implement efficiently all the ideas that we have, like, it would just be super chaotic. And with everybody all over the world, our team, the way we communicate and what we've been able to get done remotely, we all actually, there's only been one time that we've all been in the same room at once, and that was at the Military Influencer Conference last year in DC. And then, so the things that we have cooking up that we haven't told a whole lot of people about, we've told some people. ADPI also has kind of like a nonprofit type of movement called Helps, which is helping everyone live post-stress, to where it's essentially almost like we have a multifamily mastermind. We have a mastermind of people who are, suffering with PTSD, depression, if they've ever suffered with domestic violence or anything. A lot of vets suffer from these types of things, and they don't have anywhere to go or share with people. But we've created this forum, this platform inside of ADPI called Helps, helping everyone live post-stress, where we meet once a month, and we just talk to each other. We help each other out. Usually there's like a driving theme of education to help inspire vets that are suffering, with new ideas and new targets to set, because that's really what it's all about, setting new targets. Especially if you're in the military, then you're a vet, you're out of the military. That's why, there's so many homeless veterans, because they no longer have a target, and they no longer have a drive and a motivation to achieve something. So we're helping them figure out what their new targets are. So that's one thing that we kind of have, that we're slowly developing in the back burner. And then another thing, we have this Operation Abundance, where we're about to help send out 100,000 care package to deployed veterans. And we're gonna put a bunch of our free books in there just to help people, like, really start educating themselves on their own financial freedom. And our book is called Military House Hacking. It's a bestseller right now. It was kind of just the one thing I'm sure you guys realize not enough people are taking advantage of their VA loan, and just helping people understand that you can do a lot with your benefits, and you can do a lot with your VA loan. You could buy a fourplex and live in one unit and rent out the other three, and it's considered house hacking. So we wrote a book on that, and we're going to put about 100,000 books in those care packages and help people who are deployed. But man, I mean, other than that, we got some ideas cooking that we haven't fully implemented yet, and I don't want to speak prematurely on any of these ideas in case it doesn't actually happen, because I always want to follow through on my word, and I can't say for sure whether or not these are going to happen. There's a lot that goes into a lot of these ideas that we have. So, but that's pretty much it so far. We covered a lot. I mean, we have a whole single family track too, like a whole academy just for the single family and house hacking track, with a mastermind on that. And then we have the multifamily track with the academy and the mastermind, and the whole ICC with the agents. And we have our insurance company, over a mortgage company. It's just really a one-stop shop. And we have a lot of free stuff. We have a VA loan mastery course for people just to learn about their VA loan. That's free. Our book, like I said, it's free on our website. I mean, our Facebook group is obviously free. We have a couple other books. Another one that I personally wrote called The Blueprint to Financial Success, kind of help you step-by-step process to to establish your financial foundation so you can invest. That's a free book on our website. So we have all these free tools for people. And then as soon as they start getting serious and they want to invest a little bit in themselves, we have courses and masterminds and stuff for the people who are ready to get to the next level.
That's amazing. You guys are all about giving and giving and giving. That's incredible. Yeah. I love it. Honestly, I love what you guys are doing. So just before we wrap it up, because you say, your team members only met once and everybody's all over the world. How many team members is ADPI, and where are they located? Okay? Before we wrap it up.
So I'll kind of go from the people that started at the founder, Markion. He's an active duty Marine, Markion Sitch. You know, he's the founder and the visionary. He was in San Diego, but now he's in New Orleans. And then Mike Foster, he just transitioned out last year from the Navy. He was a Navy lieutenant. He was in Hampton Roads, but now he's in Hawaii. His wife is currently an active duty lieutenant on a ship out in Hawaii. And then Eric Upchurch, he's an Army veteran. He is out in California in Argona Hills. He's out kind of in between San Diego and Sacramento. And then Adam Labar, he is the other multifamily facilitator. Him and I are kind of the directors of the multifamily education. And he's in Annapolis. He's an officer in the Air Force. He's in law enforcement. And then I'm, in Pensacola, Florida. And then we have two other owners that, one, her name is Victoria Griggs. She's out in Seattle. She does so many awesome things. She's a military spouse. And then Jill Campbell, she's also out in California. So that is like the core, kind of the executive partners and the owners of ADPI. And then, we have a handful of other people who are helping out, who are doing, like Kevin Brenner. He's outside of DC. He's actually works at the Pentagon. He's our podcast co-host, and he's like the head coach of our single family mastermind. And then, we have Spencer Thomas, who's the director of financial services, who is the reason how we got our mortgage company and our insurance brokerage started. He's an Army vet, and he's in right outside of Georgia right now, down by Atlanta. And then, we have our chief marketing officer, Joe Buchanan. He's awesome. He's in Arizona right now. He's an Army vet. And then, there's a number of people who are just helping us. A bunch of inside ISAs, inside sales agents that are kind of just from the community and just ask, hey, how can we help you guys? We love what you're doing. And just from all over the country. And there's some people all in other countries too. Like Adam, the other multifamily director, he was in Japan when he closed his first apartment community here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so a lot of what we kind of got to where ADPI is today, he was in Japan, and him and I were actually producing this multifamily academy when he was 14 hours ahead of me. So we had to line up our schedules to be able to create all these modules and do all this training. Yeah. But we made it happen. And so, yeah, there's people all over the world it's a very diverse team, and man, it's a blessing. It's just a really strong and cohesive unit of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Yeah. Congrats to all the success on that. And thank you for coming on. We really, it's an honor to have you on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
For our listeners, awesome. ADPI is everywhere because we see them everywhere. Please follow them. Please, they have, like you said, a bunch of free information, free education for everybody to get started with. And then, you just help so many people. I follow you guys on every single channel. And it's amazing all the information that you guys provide me. And I love what you guys are doing. I didn't realize ADPI was so big and so many team members. So we appreciate it for coming on. And we were very, very looking forward for this interview because, like I said, my brother and I, we follow you guys everywhere. And we admire what you guys do.
Yeah, man, it's been great. It's been humbling for having me on. Thanks for having me on. And for anybody who's interested in just taking advantage of all the free stuff, just go to activedutypassiveincome.com, get our free book, join our free Facebook group, and just see what we're all about. And it's all about what you put into it. If you have a goal of achieving financial freedom, you get out of it what you put into it, just like mostly everything in the military and just life in general, right? So there's nothing but opportunities out there. Our slogan is learn and network and take action. And that's really what it's all about. Just learn and educate yourself, network with other people doing it like we're doing right now, and then take action and take big calculated action with those people and based on your education. So you're going to be the only one to stop you from achieving your goal. So go get some and let me know if you have any questions. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. You could find me through all different platforms. I'm very active on Facebook, obviously, but LinkedIn as well. Obviously, that's how we also connect at the Timothy Kelly. And you could even, hit me up on Instagram at the Timothy Kelly or my personal website, thetimothykelly.com. And if you guys reach out to me, man, I'll hop on a free phone call with you and give you like a free coaching session to help you give you some ideas to how to get to the next level. So let me know how it could help, man.
Brother, thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah. Absolutely, guys.